All right, we're live.
We are. Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy Wednesday night.
How's everyone doing out there tonight?
March 16th, 2022. Already
Mhm.
in March, already almost done with the first quarter. Unbelievable.
We are very excited coming into the spring.
Marching along.
Spring is one of my all-time favorite times of the year. Having grown up in a very cold climate in northern Ohio, spring is very, 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 very special.
Absolutely. I've heard about this special springtime. Spring in Virginia Beach is a lot of pollen. But
yes.
Anyhow.
So those are just joining. My name is John Gardner. This is my wife and law partner, Attorney Radlin Mendoza, and we're the law firm Gardner and Mendoza. And we do this every Wednesday night. We come to you at 8 o'clock for 1 hour, and we give you immigration law updates, other legal updates. Sometimes we bring you inspirational immigration stories. And most importantly, we answer your questions. That's what we do it primarily for. So if you have a question, then jump on and post your question on our Facebook page here at Gardner Mendoza Law, and we will try to get to them as the night goes on. And I also want to say hi to our TikTok folks over here. Radlin will be fielding the questions, but I will be monitoring the TikTok questions coming through here. So if you're joining us on TikTok, welcome. And if you have a question, also get it posted and we will try to get to it. The only thing I will say to the TikTok folks is that if you're on TikTok, it is a lot easier for us to see the question, to read the question, to digest the question if it's over here on the Facebook page. So if TikTok is the only way you can get to us, that's cool. We understand. That's great. But if you have the ability to hop over to Facebook, that would be that's way better. Okay, because then we can post the question and it's just so much easier for us to see it. All right.
Look, there's a glass of water here, so I had a sip.
That's good.
I don't think I've ever had a sip of water on our live stream before.
And lastly, I wanted to remind everyone that what we do here is for educational and informational purposes only. It is technically not legal advice. So we will answer your questions, but please understand that we are not giving you legal advice. Okay. All right.
All right. Fantastic. We are starting off the night with some questions. I just want to say hello to Miss Lovely. Great to see you again. A loyal, I was going to say listener because of alliteration, but it's a loyal viewer, a loyal supporter of our live stream, which we have is over 2 years strong now. Like it's 2 years and a month now that we've been doing our live stream. So it's been, I can't believe that we've been doing it for this long.
And I love the people that come on all the time. I just love it. I love the fact that they make the time to join us at the scheduled time here, and sometimes have questions and sometimes just, there we go.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I just now you guys can see my Pepto-Bismol colored shirt.
I just realized
being covered up
because we were getting some.
Yes,
that's better. Okay, great.
Okay, fantastic. We're all adjusted now. Anyhow, I just let you do all the talking. I was kind of I was actually daydreaming while you were talking. No, I'm kidding. I was looking at the questions, but we do have a really quick announcement to make. Do you want to just go ahead?
Yeah, sure. I will let you know that today Secretary Mayorkas designated Afghanistan for TPS, which is Temporary Protected Status. It's a pretty big deal.
Yes.
We have that for Ukraine last week, and today the Department of Homeland Security announced the designation of Afghanistan for TPS. It will be for 18 months. And only individuals who are already residing in the United States as of March 15th will be eligible for TPS, and there'll be a lot of information coming out about how to go about that. Of course, if you think that you qualify for this, it's also something that our office can help you with if you'd like. And just to be clear, it's March 15th. So they were clear in the press release that those who attempt to travel to the United States after March 15th from Afghanistan will not be eligible for this TPS. Okay. But if you're from Afghanistan, you're already here. This is definitely something that you want to move on tomorrow. immediately.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
right. It's going to get posted in the Federal Register probably in the next couple of weeks. But we do always, not advise. we do let people know that it's great to start getting documentation.
Absolutely.
Ready.
So if this is something you're going to you think you qualify for, I would be reaching out to either our office or somebody that you think can help you with it. I would do it immediately so that you're ready to roll right out of the gate. Okay.
All right. Thanks for that update. Let me go ahead
and our information, by the way, is on the screen. So if you want to contact us regarding this or any other immigration matter, you can see our information there. Phone number 757-464-9224.
It's not on your screen.
Or info@gmlaw.net. All right, you can reach out to us those ways. And it doesn't matter where you are. If you are in another state, in another country, it does not matter. Of course, for the TPS, that would only apply to folks who are here at the moment. But for all other cases, we represent people all over the world, all over the country. We have clients everywhere. So wherever you are, we can work with you. And we hope we can. All right.
All right. Fantastic.
All right. Let's get to some questions.
Question, Jasmine. Jasmine has the first question on the board. Jasmine did not wait 1 second. As soon as we started live, that question popped up. Good job, Jasmine. Let's see what we have here. Hello, I have 2 questions. I have applied for N400 in November of 2021, and I got a civil case charge against me in December of 2021. Should I mention it in my interview? Is it okay not to mention it? And the second question is, how can I upgrade my I-130 from F2A to U.S. citizen? My case is still at USCIS. Thanks in advance. So the civil case, so long as it's a civil case, I mean, if someone is suing you or you are suing, well, it sounds like someone may be suing you. You don't have to mention that. The question that is on the N400 deals with criminal charges, not civil charges. My only caution about that is just to make sure that it truly is a civil case. Now, I mean, you know what it is. So you know, like if someone's suing you, or maybe you were in a car accident and maybe they're saying it was your fault and someone's suing you. I mean, that's a civil case, but sometimes there are these pseudo criminal civil actions that pop up.
Yeah. I mean, if you had like a criminal assault and battery or something involving an injury, and a judge said, I'm going to treat this as a civil matter and let you all just go about it for money.
Good point.
And then you went and somebody filed a suit against you in civil court for the same charge. That might be a little bit trickier to deal with, and you might want to look at it more closely. But if we're just talking straight, like, breach of contract or something like that, and somebody's filed a civil case, I agree with, what Radlin just said.
So, would like a, I just lost my train of thought. So a peace bond, for example, if there's like an assault and battery against people, and the judge says, hey, we're just going to get rid of these charges. And then there's a peace bond. Those charges you would still have to mention, because if it's an assault and battery charge, or you've got arrested, or you were actually charged, even though you weren't convicted, you would still have to put that on your application. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're talking about a hypothetical here. We don't know. For anybody who's watching this, the caution that we're giving is that if it's a true civil case, that's one thing. But if it's a civil case that in any way mirrors or is similar to, or started as a criminal case and got bounced to civil court for whatever reason, you got to be more careful with that for sure.
Yeah. And so the question here, the follow-up question is it okay not to mention it, right? Is it okay not to mention it? Now, sometimes as a strategy, just because during an N400 interview, we want to put all the cards on the table, right? Well, not all the cards on the table, but we want to put the relevant cards on the table if the question is asked, right? That have you ever been charged, cited, indicted, fined, in prison? So that's a really broad question, and sometimes I will check no, put an asterisk by it, and say, again, depending on what the charge was, or what the type of case was, or or sometimes we, as a strategy, we say yes and then put an asterisk by it and explain what. Well, you don't have to put an asterisk, but explain it in the box below. And sometimes the officer will say, well, we don't need to know that. We're like, I know, but I wanted to list it because when the officer is looking at your N400 application, they're also looking at whether you're being truthful on the application and truthful during that interview. So if in any way, shape, and form, they think that you're trying to avoid an answer or trying not to answer something, or, just as I mentioned, avoiding and not trying not to answer something, they could ding you for good moral character, right? They can say, well, Jasmine made a misrepresentation. I asked her whether she's been fined. Again, I'm going by not, I have no idea what the civil case and what the civil charge is. Again, if it was a car accident and someone suing you for that, that's one that I can think of. Or as John said, breach of contract. I think it's fine to not, but it's very case specific. So I'm going to change my answer and say you should not. Well, you have the N400. You've got an interview coming up. I think that you should consult with us.
Yeah, my answer is you should make an appointment with our office, just because
the more I talk about this, right?
You want to be careful here,
right?
And we've talked to a lot of officers, and if it's, again, as Radlin said, if it's a civil case, and that's one thing. But just as a side note, for anybody who's just doing an N400 generally, be really careful. They know. All right.
It's a landlord case.
Okay, good. Okay.
It's a landlord
tenant case.
Okay, so maybe your landlord is suing you for not paying the rent or whatever. That's a civil case.
That's a straight civil case.
Jasmine, like, shush, it's a landlord case. Stop it with all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
But hopefully whoever's listening
Personal injury, contract, landlord tenant.
Right, landlord tenant.
That was going to be my next thing I was going to throw out, landlord tenant.
All right. But for those of you listening and may have the same question, landlord case, you're good to go.
I'm just using it as this question as a springboard to be careful that the idea, anytime somebody talks about, withholding something, like, maybe I'll just hide it. Nobody will know. Nobody will find out. That's a dangerous strategy.
Right. All right. Next question. We spent a lot on that. And you know what I just realized? We are not plugged in.
The computer is not plugged in.
That is correct.
So we're gonna
have to get our helper. We have a helper, which is great to have an IT person helping us when we forget to do things that are just silly, since we've been doing this for a couple of years now.
Right. The
power cord. Anyway, we do. Let me ask you this second question. How can I upgrade my I-130 from F2A to U.S. citizen? My case is still at USCIS.
I'm going to send a text to the tech department right now. While you're answering that question.
Let's see here. Okay. So sounds like you have filed an I-130 petition for someone and in the F2A category, and you want to inform USCIS that you are a U.S. citizen once you naturalize to become a U.S. citizen. November, December, January, February, March 22, you filed it in November. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But once you swear in to become a U.S. citizen, then if your case is still at USCIS, you simply write them a letter. You write them a letter and include your certificate, a signed copy of your certificate of naturalization to inform USCIS of the change, that you are a U.S. citizen now. If it goes to the NVC, then you inform the NVC of that, and by letting them know, you can actually call them and update your status, and they will request that you upload your certificate of naturalization. So Jasmine, I hope that has answered your two questions. I do want to quickly add, and again, I don't know if this applies to Jasmine, but
unplug it from the
plug. but for anyone who may have similar fact pattern, just want to mention that if you filed an I-130 petition for your spouse and you are a lawful permanent resident, of course, spouse is in F2A category. And if you have children, or if your spouse has children, then they will also be in that F2A category. Just want to let you guys know that once you become a U.S. citizen, you are going to have to file separate petitions for the two derivative children who are your spouse's children or your children. So it's a big difference, to have to go back out and file those two I-130 petitions once you become a U.S. citizen. So just something to think about. All right, how are we doing in TikTok? What's going on over there?
Well, we're starting to get some questions coming, but we've got still plenty on Facebook.
We do.
Somebody was checking in from Hawaii and said aloha. I love that when that happens.
Aloha. Who was it? Well, we'll find out in a second. Let me scroll.
Yeah, okay. It was down further.
Good evening, Christine. Christine has a question here. I'm gonna just pull it on, even though look, it's just my eyes that you can see. All right, so let me read this real quick. For the two couples that are in same-sex relationship, was in the Philippines and the other one is in the United States. The one that is in the Philippines applied for a tourist visa. After she got the tourist visa, they decided to have an online marriage before visiting her partner in the United States. After the online marriage, she flew to U.S. to visit her partner. If she decided to stay in the United States with her partner, may she be qualified for visa adjustment since they had online marriage prior to the visit, or will she be subject to maybe immigrant intent or something like that, right? That's probably the rest of the question. Interesting that it got cut off. I never saw that before, but it was a long question. All right. So let's see here. Okay, that's a different question. I'm going to just read. I'm going to try to summarize this question. There's a couple. They got married online, okay, and now the spouse is traveling to the United States and has entered the United States on a tourist visa. The question is she qualified for adjustment of status? So in order to qualify for adjustment of status, you have to have a visa that's immediately available, checks that box if Christine or the petitioner is a U.S. citizen, right? And you have to be admitted and inspected, which she came in on the tourist visa. So when she came in through the port of entry, she was admitted and inspected. So we have two check boxes there that appear on the face of this case. You're eligible to apply for adjustment of status. Now, the question is the adjustment of status going to get approved, right? And why would they not approve the adjustment of status under this set of facts? Well, there are things that I don't know. One, what kinds of questions did they ask the spouse who had the online marriage and came in on the tourist visa? What kind of questions did they ask at the port of entry? No questions at all. Like, come on in, have a nice trip. And then so the beneficiary, the future beneficiary, does not have to make a material misrepresentation in entering the United States, right? So if none of that happened, then that may not come up at the interview. But they had the online marriage, right? So the question that I would have is, what was your intent? What was the intent to come visit? She says she flew in to visit her partner in the United States after the online marriage. Christine doesn't say she came in to visit and to stay and to get a green card and to, start their lives together. She didn't say that. She said came in to visit. So with this very, very small fact pattern, I'm going to just assume that I had a long conversation with Christine and her spouse, and they said, no, we just came in to visit. And then we saw that you were having a live stream and we asked a question. Can I stay? I mean, I didn't come to stay, but I'm asking you, can I stay? And my answer is possibly you can. And have an approved adjustment of status and green card. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. But again, there's a lot here, and I would want to ask some follow-up questions. What's the goal? What is the goal of the couple? Usually the goal of the couple is, we don't really want to be apart anymore. Sometimes the goal of the couple is, we just want to visit back and forth while we file this process. How long is it going to take? I've got to finish up school back home still, so I can't do adjustment of status. I really need to work in the United States right now. Well, that's not going to work with adjustment of status. You have to wait 6 months or so to get the work permit. So there are just a lot of, there are a lot of things to be considered. And Christine, such a great question, because it's like a law school question, and one that we deal with, every single week, several times a week.
There's the concept that people really bring up or have a hard time with is the answer is that you can. I mean, if you're here and you marry somebody, then you're off to the races. But if your plan all along was to do that, and then you tried to trick everybody and like, well, I'm going to just say I'm going for this other reason, then once I'm there, I'm going to do the marriage. That's not allowed. That's you got all kinds of ethical issues there. So the intent matters.
Well, she came in just to visit her partner,
right?
Not to live the rest of her life with her. All right. So, but yes, John is absolutely correct. These are the things that we get into, what you're comfortable with, right? I mean, during an interview and what you're going to say. So there's just a lot here. And I welcome you to make an appointment with our office so we can really get into it. As John mentioned, we can meet you anywhere through Zoom, through our, we also do FaceTime, and we do a 1-hour consultation. It's $275, and we answer all your questions. I guarantee that. So, all right. Let's see here. Why don't we grab a question from our dedicated TikTok fans and followers, 17,000 strong. Thank you guys so much for all of your support on the videos. I get so much positive feedback.
All right. The first up after all the qualifying laps, the pole position here. That's a Formula One racing reference for those of you who like racing. 4455 Mike wants to know, kind of a vague general question, but I know you can answer it. What is the best way to get a fiance visa? She is from Cambodia, so he wants to know what he should do.
So, assuming you all have, so for a fiance visa, the petitioner has to be a U.S. citizen, number one, and the couple has to have seen each other within 2 years of filing the I-129F. So if you, and of course they have to be not married to anyone else. So if they were married to someone else, they have to either have that marriage terminated prior to filing. Sometimes people ask, hey, can I file this I-129F? I'm going through a divorce right now. No, that divorce has to be finalized. It has to be approvable when filed. So the best way, the fastest way is to file. Just to file your I-129F. And there are some considerations, of course, that we've gotten into in previous live streams, and they're available on our Facebook if you want to take a look at it. But the consideration is the goal. What is the goal of the couple, right? That's the biggest consideration. And I was on a consultation earlier this week. And that's always a question, and it was the same set of facts here. And is it the I-129 filing the fiance visa, or are we going to get married and do the immigrant visa consular processing, go that route? What's faster? And right now, it's just hard. It's so hard to say. I think that if the goal is to be in front of one another, looking at each other on U.S. soil, then it's maybe the fiance visa. I mean, 2 years ago, I would have 100% said that. But, just with things the way they are, it's hard. Like there are major backlogs in all embassies across the world. And I mean, the immigrant visa is not any faster, but what a lot of people don't realize is that when you come into the United States on the fiance visa, that is just half of it, right? That's half of it. The other half is applying for the green card when you after you get married, and that's another like 18 to 24 months potentially. So your fiance, yes, you're going to go through a year of fiance visa processing and have it approved and be in the United States. Yes, a whole stinking year. Used to be 3, 4, 5, 6 months. It's now a year, if that. And then when you get to the United States, you got to wait another year and a half, 2 years to get the green card. But if the most important thing, and it usually is with couples, is to be together no matter what, whether we have a green card, whether I can work, whether I can travel outside the United States or not, then yeah, the fiance visa right now is probably faster by a hair. All right. Really good question, though. Let's see here. Now, the one from Sebastian.
Yeah, and just by the way, if anyone could weigh in on Facebook as well, getting a lot of people on TikTok asking if anyone else is having poor internet connection, and they're all concluding that it's on our end. So,
oh no, is there a poor internet connection? Let's see here. It's LTE. Oh, I have LTE. I guess I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. Do you want to scroll up and fix the settings? Go wrong way. No. Oh, okay. Yeah, here. Let me.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, got it. Pause real quick. It's that one right there.
Where is it? Right there. Oh, it's in there. Gotcha.
I am not connected. Wow.
That's just
some,
what it is.
Just some amateur moves on this side here. Yeah, we're good. I think
it's because we sprang forward. We lost an hour of sleep.
Is that what we did?
That's what it is.
No, it's because I'm coaching a Girls on the Run team. Guys, I'm coaching. My sister and I are coaching Girls on the Run team, and we have 17 girls. It's amazing, the two of us. Yeah, I think we're good to go now.
Okay, we are sorry about that, everyone. We're back. Those of you on TikTok who were all talking to each other about our poor internet connection.
It was.
I think you were right. So hopefully it's been corrected now. Sorry we didn't catch that. She said it's Girls on the Run. I think it's because of the daylight savings time change. Yeah.
Okay.
We lost an hour of sleep last night.
Sebastian, I see your question. I'm gonna just summarize. Let me just pull this up here. Sebastian had a 275 executed on my B1B2 13 years ago with the mentioned 212A, which is immigrant intent. My question is, since it's been so long, ever since 14 years, if I need some assistance from you guys. The reason for all these was that I was suspected to work without a work permit, and they found a check in my traveling bag which confirmed it. I also didn't lie about it, even though at that trip I was heading to LAX to visit my aunt and uncle. The check was forgotten there from 1 year ago where he visited the last time. Okay. So for all of you who are listening, Sebastian got dinged for having a check from the an employer in the United States, presumably from like a year ago. It was an old check. You should have cashed that check, right? You wouldn't have. And that's what caused them to cancel his tourist visa. So yes, working without authorization is going to be problematic if they find that out and they're going to cancel that tourist visa. Sebastian's question is, can I apply again? Can I apply again for the tourist visa? You can apply again, but it probably will get denied because of what happened. It's really hard to overcome something like this, right? You can't put the toothpaste back in the toothpaste tube. It's really hard to kind of make something like this right. It's not to say that you won't, right? You admitted to it. It sounds like you admitted to it. But I'm going to say it's just really, really tough, but you have to try. Like, I mean, you just got to go and apply for a tourist visa again. But chances are that you are going to get denied. There's really nothing that I, as an attorney, can do about that. since there is no appeal. And yeah, it's a tough break. I'm sorry that's happened to you, but you got to try and see what happens.
Which dovetails nicely with our next question here. Is it a good idea for an undocumented person to travel on an airplane inside the United States?
So the question is all over the internet with 100 different varying answers from your cousin, from your brother, from even attorneys who give different answers. John and our answer is it is not a good idea to travel domestically if you're undocumented. Now, what document do you have to get on the plane, right? Did TSA did the what is that thing called? The verify the thing on your
the real ID.
The real ID, yeah. Thank you. Did that go into effect yet with airline travel? I think it was supposed to go into effect in March or maybe in May. So I think it would be risky. I really do. If you travel within, and I mean, John and I travel a lot. We travel a lot with our kids. Nobody's checking immigration in domestic airports, but there's a possibility of it. I mean, it has happened. For sure.
I mean, is it a good idea? I mean, will it be okay? Maybe. It's definitely not a good idea. And Radlin's right. I mean, when it comes to our clients, especially, we're pretty risk averse. We don't like to take unnecessary risks with their cases. And so, if you can avoid it until you're in a different situation, that's probably preferable. But, if you're a gambler.
Yeah. I mean, will it be okay? I mean, probably, but am I going to recommend that? No.
No. Right.
When we give tips here, we like to make people leave better off and not worse off, like after talking to us. So, but we are more conservative, and this answer is all over the place on the internet. But I would say no. If you've been here for a long time and you have a driver's license, it's real ID that's required. And again, I don't even know if it's required right now at this point. I think it got postponed, but we will. Can we write that down and we will check on that with regard to the traveling domestically, and if that's has gone into effect, because I need to know personally. All right. Hello, Mel. Thanks for saying hello. Scott Eagle says, best advice for Ukraine refugees trying to come to the United States to stay with family temporarily. So right now, if you're depending on where your family is, my understanding is that some of the embassies are packed, like in Warsaw, packed. If you go farther out, into Europe, get to another embassy. I believe Germany and France are not as busy, and humanitarian parole is going to take a really long time. And if you're here in the United States and your family members do not have tourist visas, they can try to apply for a tourist visa at one of these embassies, but they still have to really state that it is a temporary stay. Okay. And the circumstances around how they're going to get back and how they plan to get back, even though it seems ridiculous, right? For them to have to say that because of what's going on in Ukraine, but they have to make sure that they have a plan of what to say with regard to how their intent to return back to Ukraine and apply for a tourist visa. And you are here in the United States as a family member, they can use you as your contact information. And letters of invitation have not really been accepted. at embassies for tourist visas, but it may be a good idea to write one for your family members under these circumstances, as well as, how you are going to be a part of their return back to Ukraine, once it's time to go back to Ukraine. So that's the fastest way right now. But it is difficult. It's still going to be tough. So we will keep you posted as we hear more things regarding refugees in Ukraine. But please stay tuned, because if you are, you have family members, and if you may have Ukrainian friends and family here, you probably already know that TPS was granted. And so Ukrainians who are here as of March 1st are going to be eligible for TPS. It's going to be 18-month designation. So please stay tuned. We are getting volunteers together, attorneys together, to do a virtual workshop to help Ukrainians and Afghans apply for TPS, and whoever else may need TPS. So stay tuned. Scott, a really good question, and our hearts go out to your family, and of course all the people in Ukraine and who have had to flee Ukraine, and all of our friends here who are Ukrainian and are just sick over what's happening. So please stay tuned. Do we have another question?
We do have another question, and I'm also going to need my tech assistant whenever she's
Oh no, what's
ready.
going on?
Okay, so we do have a question here. Married to a U.S. citizen, overstayed, I-45, do I list my unlawful employment?
Married to a U.S. citizen, I-45, yes. Yeah, you do. Sorry, more tech difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
Short answer is yes, you should list it. And the explanation of that is that you should not lie on a green card application or any immigration application. And there is forgiveness for the immediate relatives of U.S. citizens for unauthorized work. So you just go ahead and list it. All right. I won't elaborate anymore. I mean, there's so much I can say about that. Like, a lot of our clients are concerned about this when they see their unauthorized employment on the I-485 application. Like, why did you put that there? I'm like, because it's okay. It'll be fine. And we don't want to misrepresent on the green card application. All right. Rachel says, is there a way for someone with an ongoing annulment in the Philippines to get to the U.S. through a green card partner? So Rachel, no, unfortunately not. You have to terminate the previous marriages first before petitioning. Unfortunately, there's no petition for a partner if the marriage has not been annulled yet. Again, there is a fiancé visa. The petitioner has to be a U.S. citizen, and but the marriage has to already be terminated. So I know it takes a really long time in the Philippines to get an annulment. Hang in there. You may also want to consider getting married in a different country if that's feasible, possible. I don't have a list of countries that are able to do that expeditiously and during a visit. John and I almost got married in Jamaica prior to getting married. Remember that?
I totally remember that.
I don't know why we wanted to do that. I think it was because we were going to have a big giant wedding, and
yeah, we were hanging.
My mom is on here. Hi, Mom. We're just kidding. We were not going to get married in Jamaica.
We were hanging out at a place called Jake's, which was somewhere along the southern coast of Jamaica. The Black River, was that what it was close to?
I'm not sure.
Treasure Beach or something. I don't remember that.
It was so long ago. So long ago.
Yeah, and we got this great idea that it'd be fun to just go ahead and get married, and then come back and do our actual big wedding here.
Right. But the I think we briefly looked into it. Did we or did
we couldn't really find anyone to do it.
It was, there are these requirements that we needed to do, and we just were not willing to do that during our short stay in Jamaica. So that is a recommendation for you, Rachel. We have had some clients to do that, get married in a third country. I'm sorry. Get divorced in a third country. This is not about getting married. Yes, divorced as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
Sorry, gang. We're having all kinds of technical.
I know this is so funny. All right. Esther.
That's okay.
Look, the next question. It's Esther, and she says fiance visas versus spousal from Jamaica, which is quickest and which is the cheapest.
This is going to be a terrible.
Not too bad.
Can everybody live with that? That's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Sorry, guys. It's usually not like this. It really isn't. We're always like smooth as silk. Yep. We are. It's the day. You're right. It's the daylight.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, all right. Which is the quickest / cheapest? I would have to add up all of the filing fees and the fees. Off the top of my head, I don't know what I think fee wise they're about the same with legal and filing fees. Actually, filing fees, getting married is cheaper. That's because when you do your fiance visa, you still have to come to the United States on that fiance visa and pay the $12.25 adjustment of status fee and the biometrics fee. But anyway, fastest, Esther, I don't know how long you've been on here, but I've probably already answered this question. I answered this question a little bit earlier, but it really depends on your goals, the goals of the couple. Is the goal to be staring in each other's eyes romantically on U.S. soil as soon as possible? It may be the K-1 visa by a hair. If the goal is to be able to work immediately upon entering the United States, you're gonna want to get married first and go through that process. Spousal, if you get married and you have to file the I-130 petition, that I-130 petition might go to the California Service Center. It's taking 29 months for the California Service Center to adjudicate, to make a decision on that I-130 petition. 29 months.
Yeah. Can you just repeat that? Because
29 months.
2 questions on TikTok right now. Both are asking about how long I-130 is taking right now.
Yeah. So it depends on, again, it depends on the service center. Nebraska's certainly not that long, but we're on the East Coast. Our cases go to California. It's not necessarily going to go to Nebraska. We can't choose where the case goes. So really quickly, and we do this every single week, and I will do it again because I want to help. I want to help you. We want to provide helpful information. If you want to check USCIS processing times, okay, whether you have a case or not, whether you're just curious, what you do is just Google USCIS processing times, and the site will pop right up. It's always the first one, and you put don't pay for this, by the way. Do not pay to check processing times. Okay, there's a website. You click the ad, the one that has ads, and do not pay for this information. You pick your form. You basically click the little arrow down, and it'll scroll, and you'll have a choice of forms that you can choose from. For the fiance visa, you check the I-129F. For the I-130, you check the I-130. You click on it. Then you check the service center. Say you want to know how long it is in every single service center. You can do that. You check California first, and then hit submit, and then the processing times will pop up. So you can check processing times that are hypothetical, that you don't even have to have a case pending in order for you to do that. But if you do have a case pending, that's a good way to see where you are in the case by that. So Esther, either way, it is a long road for you and your fiance. And I think that the best thing to do is to file if appropriate, right? If you have just seen your fiance, or maybe you've seen your fiance within the past 2 years, and you're not going to see your fiance for another 9 months. Maybe you should just do the I-129F, because that is what's available to you and your fiance at this time, if you are a U.S. citizen. So, Esther, hopefully that has helped. I can go on and on and on about this.
Yeah,
if you and your
like superstar rating. You'd asked the question about the I-130, and a couple other folks had as well. So
yeah, and Esther, welcome you to make an appointment with us, with our team. We charge $275 for a consultation. We will help you figure out what the quickest and the cheapest is based on your set of facts and what your goals are for you and your fiance. Okay. So, yeah.
And when I say, I hope you heard that, because that answers your question. If you didn't, because it was somebody else's question and you were, maybe doing something else, I get it. But you can come back to our Facebook page at a later date and rewatch this, all right, at Gardner Mendoza Law. So if you didn't hear it, you can go back and and please disregard the technical difficulty when you're rewatching it. All right.
Okay. Let's see here.
You were talking about not paying for it. Years ago, I made that mistake. I think I went to like irs.com and bought all these tax forms. And then I later learned that it was like irs.gov. They were all there for free.
Yeah, it's uscis.gov. uscis.gov.
Yeah, the .gov is
.gov.
Yeah,
right.
Look for gov. Okay.
Yeah, but so I want to remind everyone on TikTok, guys, every day I delete comments from a poser, a person who is defrauding my followers and people who make comments. So they say, you make a comment, you say, oh, what's the fastest way, spousal or fiance? And then they'll say, beat me on WhatsApp for a better answer. And then you guys, say, wow, Radlin wants me to call her on WhatsApp. And then you do, and you don't talk to anyone. You do talk to someone, and that someone gets $200, $175, whatever the money amount is, and says, yeah, well, we're going to make an appointment with Attorney Mendoza. But it's fraud. It's all fraud. So I've already had a couple of people who have gotten swindled, unfortunately. And it was a couple $100 each. And they were pushing for more, like they got $200 for the appointment, and they were trying to extract another $1,000 to talk to me. And then the person the follower finally was just like, I thought I paid $200 to have a Zoom meeting with Attorney Mendoza. And then that's when she cut, and she knew that it was fraud, and then reached out to us through Messenger. I gave her I felt bad so I gave her a free consultation. But I can't do that for everyone. So please do not get defrauded by someone on TikTok who is.
We've got IT people working on how to.
Yeah, it's just it's a bot. I don't know what it is. Report it to TikTok. There's just so many. Mm-hmm. So what they'll do is they will have a different iteration of my name, and I'm immigration lawyer 1. It might be immigration lawyer 1. So just be careful, please. We're not trying to, we don't ever have you reach out to us through WhatsApp. It's always going to be through our law firm number. That's 757-464-9224, or through our email, info@gmlaw.net, or you can always click on the link to make an appointment. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, some people got back to us on the internet connection. Thank you. It was all just a little glitch with the phone. Okay.
We do have a lot of questions here. I don't want to miss anyone. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to grab this, Bernadette. I'm a green card holder. I want to petition my daughter who's over 21 years old, single. How long is the processing time? Is there a way to make it faster? There is no way to make a visa become available faster. We don't have the April 2022, right? Visa bulletin. So I'd have to check the visa bulletin, which is not at my fingertips right now, to see how long F2B. No. It's December. F2B processing times, Bernadette, but I will put that in your call. I'll reply to your comment. I'll take a look at that. But there is no way to make that faster, unfortunately. All right. It's Chris who says aloha from Hawaii. Hello. Hello. Aloha. Okay. I figured just Jasmine, if I request for a change of status to student visa while on a tourist visa and my status got denied, will I be out of status right? Will I be out of status right away? So you will start accruing unlawful presence. And my recommendation would be to depart the United States before accruing more than 180 days of unlawful presence, and even before that, so hopefully that helps. Unlawful presence, guys, basically, if you are in the United States, if you overstay, or if you're in the United States, if you entered without inspection, if you overstay, if you enter without inspection, and you're out of status for more than 180 days and you leave the United States, you trigger something called the 3-year bar. If you're out of status for more than a year and you leave the United States, you trigger the 10-year bar, and you're not able to return back to the United States for those periods of time unless you get a waiver. All right, great question though. Can you change status from an M1 visa to a spouse visa? Megan, my understanding is that you can. I haven't actually even looked at an M1 visa in a really long time, but my understanding is that you can change status because you entered with inspection. And again, if this is based on marriage to a U.S. citizen or marriage to a lawful permanent resident, while the visa is available for spouses of lawful permanent residents, then yes. All right. Do you want to?
Yeah, and you got some thank yous, by the way, on some of those questions.
You all are very, very welcome. Do we want to grab a question there? Or I'm going to just keep going here because this is it's lined up here. It's so easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just keep moving and grooving.
Okay.
Then.
You want me to just grab them here? Yeah. You can grab the next one. I'll take a look at this here. Let's see. Got that one. Got that one. I like this one. Rose. Hi, Rose. We've seen Rose before. Does it affect the petition if we get married, but I choose to keep my last name? It does not. So we get this question a lot, actually. People who don't want to change their maiden name for whatever reason that is. And is the officer going to basically say this is not a real marriage because you didn't change your last name? And the answer is no. That's it. When I first started practicing immigration law 23 years ago, so long ago, that question came up. Why did you change your last name? Why didn't you change your last name?
And for those of you who are just joining us, my name is John Gardner. This is my wife and law partner, Radlin Mendoza.
Right.
And we're the law firm Gardner and Mendoza.
And so I would say I didn't change my last name, and my husband and I are in a real marriage. I'm just kidding. I never said that, but it did go through my mind. But anyway, that question does not come up ever anymore. So you're good to go. Good. And a lot of people don't change their last name because their passport is in their maiden name. It's a real pain to change the passport. So they kind of figure like, I don't want to do that. And then maybe they want to do it later down the road when they can change their passport as well. So anyway, there are a lot of different reasons. Our mentor and very good friend, his son just had a baby, and the son took his wife's maiden name, not his son's last name, because it was the last in the line. There are no more boys or whatever or children to carry on the last name. So very progressive thinking. They named the baby after the full name after the wife's grandfather. So
there you have it.
There you have it. Yeah. Very progressive. I was like, whoa. I don't know anyone else who would do that. But anyway.
Here's the question. My cousin got a juvenile visa. And they told her she would wait 3 years for her permanent residency. Can she travel while she's waiting for her residence?
So SIJS, maybe?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, can you make sense of that? That's
I'm
not sure what that is, but you
it's
know
probably
more than I do.
maybe he's applied for the green card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. That is a really if I get this question wrong on a live stream from one sentence question, that's dangerous, right? That's dangerous for the person asking the question on behalf of their cousin, the cousin, right? And so I would have someone take a look at that, and if if they have an attorney to make sure they ask their attorney if it's okay to travel. I don't want to answer that question, say yes, and have the person travel, and I don't know all the facts. They didn't apply for advanced parole, or they're in, they have a record, and it's going to make them inadmissible upon entry. There's just so many different factors that.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, so many factors that we don't know for me to just say yes or no.
And we get variations of this question fairly often about people do want to know while they have cases pending, whatever kind of immigration case it is, what the situation is with whether they can travel. And it's really worth it to, and also how long, if they can travel, how long they can stay places. And you'd really be wise to invest in some actual legal advice on that, where you've got all the facts and we can analyze all the facts and make sure that we're telling you the right thing. And if it's not us, your immigration lawyer. But yeah, it's worth getting a good answer on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we're kind of running out of time and we have a lot of questions still, but I wanted to mention this really quickly. It was a consultation today, and it was a consultation booked through TikTok, and I do have like 20-minute slots that that I offer, and this is a paid consultation. So the person who's talking to me for 20 minutes paid me for this conversation. And what in the scenario, in the facts, her mom went to her immigrant visa. She petitioned for her mom. Mom went to immigrant visa appointment and was approved. Mom has a 17-year-old son, and the consular officer, unless the mom was misunderstood, but I mean, how do you misunderstand this? Consular officer said, "Oh, your minor son can go with you. So what you need to do is pay the DS 260 fee at the National Visa Center, and you'll be able to go with you." So she was very excited about that. The petitioner who called me, that her little brother would be able to come under the mom's petition. And I had to break the news to her that is just incorrect information given, right, by the consular officer, or maybe the mom misunderstood. So, we were talking for 10 minutes about how, shocking it was that they were given this information, and that, like, she was happy. She was disappointed that, she was disappointed their brother couldn't come, but really happy to have that information. So as John was saying, it's okay to get to pay and get the right information. Like, don't feel bad about that because it can help you move forward. Whatever it is in your case, I mean, it can stop you in the case, or it can help you move forward. So anyhow, we are out of time. We've had so many questions that we did not get to.
I think I just saw that my mom joined us. Hi, Mama.
Hi, how are you? My mom's not here. So our timekeeper is giving us a 9 o'clock, our 9 o'clock hour. But man, there's just so many questions. I feel bad that we're not able to get to all of them. But you know where to find us. Every Wednesday, we are here answering your questions. And here is Ray, our timekeeper. Ray is our youngest daughter. She's 10. Here, come in so our TikTok.
She also
friends can-
does tech support for us.
She does tech support. Ray got
help tonight.
2 chargers, turned on a light, got us some water. But it was awesome hanging out with you guys for an hour, and we'll see you.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you so much for all of your questions.
Your questions, okay? We had a lot tonight, and we couldn't get to all of them, but we will come back next week.
And put them in. Just put them in first.
Post
you know
them
who was the first person that got their question answered? It was Jasmine, I think.
8:00.
All
okay?
right.
All right, everyone.
2 thumbs up, guys.
Week. We'll see you here next week. All right.
Thank you so
2
much.
thumbs up.